Okay, I think we're gonna get started. If I have to let some more people into the meeting, I sure will. But thank you all for taking the time to get on here. If you have to jump off, I understand. We do have a link later on that we'd like you to. It's a Survey Monkey thing. I'd like you to fill out if you could. It just helps us with who's been on the clinics and things like that. So that'll come up later. The intention is for me to share my screen for most of the meeting. We've got some Zoom things. I've also got some other things that we'll do. This is intended for umpires that are umpiring Fastpitch softball for USA Softball. 3 years or less of experience. It's we aren't going to kick anybody off, but it might get maybe a little repetitious for the umpires that are a little more experienced. So just know that. I'll get into sharing my screen. And then we'll get started. So again, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. This is our Fastpitch umpire training for umpires with less than 3 years of experience. I am your state umpire in chief, Tom Keller, and there's my contact information. Keith Cook, would you like to go ahead?
Sure, Tom. I'm going to start out by just telling everybody, my name is Keith Cook. I'm state men's Fastpitch umpire in chief, or adult men's Fastpitch umpire in chief. That phone number that's listed there, that's my home phone, which you can leave a note for, but we'll probably change it for the next clinic. My cell phone, which is the number that should appear, is 651-248-2389. Obviously, I get text messages and emails on that email address that's current and listed. Maybe just a little bit background about myself. I've been an umpire in chief for USA and ASA softball and USA softball for, I've been an umpire for 40 plus years. I have been fortunate enough to have my umpiring take me to many national championships and also get certified internationally and work international softball, men's Fastpitch, both at the ISF level, which is the International Softball Federation. And the new name for that organization now is WBSC, World Baseball Softball Confederation. So I've been able to umpire both here in the United States and abroad, representing the United States as an umpire. And, through all those different tournaments that I've had the opportunity to work, made friends with many countries, and to this day have hosted some of those friends at my house and have visited some of those friends on their home soil. So umpiring is, I think I started umpiring just for something to do because I had extra time when I was a young lieutenant in the Marine Corps. Never knew that it would take me as far as it's taken me and all the friends that I've had. So with that, I'll pass it to my dear friend, Jason Smith.
Hi there. My name is Jason Smith. I am the state JO umpire in chief, primarily focusing over the junior Olympic or the youth game in the state of Minnesota. I've been umpiring for about 20 years now. I currently am an assigner for an organization called Minnesota Elite Umpires. We focus primarily in kind of the West Southwest Metro with some communities, but I also am the umpire in chief for the Minnesota Gold League, which is some of the top traveling club teams in the state of Minnesota. I'm the umpire in charge for that as well. As I mentioned, my experience about 20 years of officiating. I've you know, as Keith mentioned it, he goes and he works the men's side. That's where I grew up when I came up here into the state of Minnesota, and then I morphed out of the men's side a little bit into the girls side, into the women's side. That is my background.
Well, good. Thanks, guys. And you know what? You did a good job of remembering what I asked. I did not. Some of my background is I've been umpiring probably 40 years. Actually started out in the slow pitch game. I have evolved to working both. Been fortunate to do a lot of national tournaments, both in fast pitch and slow pitch. USA, ASA has been a good ride. Worked hard, done some college ball, and do a lot of other sports. So enjoy officiating. So that is our background. We'll keep going here. We'd like to thank you for what you do for USA softball. Without umpires, it's just recess. So we value each and every one of you. Our intention is to try to retain our umpires, try to recruit new ones, and train the ones we have. So our office is located in Medina, and at the office we have a small amount of uniforms, not a whole lot of equipment. Most of the equipment goes through official gear. So this is some of the things that Jason will get into with you.
Yeah, so if you're sitting in this meeting, you may be asking the question, well, who assigns me a game? I'm brand new, I don't know where I'm going. Who do I need to contact? If you're on this meeting, it's the first step. It's a perfect first step. You can get a hold of myself, you can get a hold of Tom Keller, you can get a hold of Keith Cook. And what we primarily do is we work within the metro area. If you live in Forest Lake, we work with the assigners in Forest Lake. If you live in Monticello, we work with the assigners that have the Monticello area. Throughout the entire metro area, like I said, I work in the kind of the Southwest Metro, but we will get you to an assigner that is somebody that can be your mentor, your leader. Those are the objective. The goal for us is to put you in an area that will limit your travel, so to speak, so you don't have to travel 30, 40, 50, 60 miles to work on a Monday night or a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night. There's games in everybody's backyard. There's I think over 1,700 registered teams with USA softball last year. There's games in your backyard, so we want to put you in contact with the assigner that is in your backyard so you can work those games each night of the week if you want. Who mentors you? Your mentor is going to be the assigner. Whoever we put you into contact with will be your mentor. They will sometimes pair you up with veteran officials. They will also do all the training when it comes to trying to get you set up. Most of the training when it comes to get you set up for games, live action games. We do host, USA Softball does host several cadet umpire clinics, and they are specifically designed for inexperienced, brand new officials, or even some officials that maybe have been working maybe a year or two and they want to take the next step and they want to get, more in depth into the game itself. Go ahead, Tom. So once we have you set up with your assigner, we have you set up with your mentor, where you're going to be working league games or tournaments or anything like that, your assigner will be the one, or the community. Some work it both ways. They'll be the ones that will ultimately pay you. If you work for Minnesota Elite Umpires, which is my organization, we pay every 2 weeks. So if you work games Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for 1 week, and the next week you don't work at all, you'll have a check coming the following week for the 1 week that you did work. And if we run into weather, or let's say you umpired one game and then the first game of the doubleheader of the night, you finished, but the second game you got rained and lightning and everything else, You just have to make your assigner aware, hey, I worked one game, not both of them that night. So they'll adjust your pay accordingly. Go ahead, Tom. Scorecards. So for league games, there really aren't any scorecards that have to be kept, which is nice for a newer umpire. We don't have to worry about scores. Scores are input by the coaches themselves into the USA Softball league system, either the Big West or the Tri-County. So as umpires, we really don't have to worry about scores. We're there to umpire ball, strike, safe, out, fairs, and fouls, and any discrepancies when it comes to any rules themselves and obstruction and interference, things like that. Scorecards are primarily used in the tournament games. If you want to get into the tournament umpiring avenue, you'll work for your assigner. They'll put you at a tournament site. They will also put you in contact with what they call an umpire in charge or an umpire in chief for the tournament. That umpire in chief will be in charge of handing out a scorecard for you for the game. You take that scorecard to the field. You write down the home team, you write down the visiting team, and ultimately the final score of the game that you just officiated. That allows you to turn that scorecard back into either the tournament staff or to the UIC at the tournament. And that way you get, not only you get credit for the game that you officiated, but the teams also get credit for playing the game and the scores that go against their standings for the tournament. What do I do if I have troubles with players, coaches, or fans during a game? Please, 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 please put Tom Keller's, Keith Cook's, and my phone numbers on speed dial. Put them in your phone, have them handy. My phone is on me 24/7. If you have a problem, please call right away. USA Softball is working with each of the communities closer than ever before in terms of, because we want to nip the problems in the behind now and not later. The greatest thing that came up on a conversation that I had with somebody the other day was, all of a sudden, because of TV exposure and cell phones and everything that everybody has to video a game, they think the 10 and under game that their daughter is playing is actually a college game. And we all know that's as far from the truth as possible. But the parents and coaches act like it's a college game, which it's not. So please keep Keith's number, Tom's number, my number. I'm available 24/7. Keep us on speed dial. If you have problems, please let us know right away. If there's nobody at the facility for that community that can help you deal with a player, coach, or a fan that's out of line, then simply we will support you. We will ask you, just be safe and get yourself into a safe place and get a hold of us. If that means that you have to leave a field uncovered, that's so be it. We will support you. We will stand behind you 100%. We want you safe. That's our utmost concern with anything that's going on. We want you safe. We want you to be fully in a place that nothing can happen to you at that point. But please call us right away. All right, Tom.
Yeah.
This is still mine. Okay. Umpire uniforms. Umpire uniforms consist of 4 different shirt colors. We have a powder blue, we have a navy, we have a white, and we have a pink USA Softball shirt. And we'll show examples on those on the next slide. Standard uniform for an umpire comes with a heather gray umpire pants, USA Softball umpire cap, black belt, black shoes, black socks, dark blue, navy, gray, or dark blue, navy, or a gray USA Softball bag. Also, you need that plate brush, because I have yet to buy a pair of shoes that have a brush attached to the bottom of them. You'll have to have an indicator that allows you to keep track of the balls, strikes, and outs. Lineup card holder and pin are handy for tournaments. Like I said, during league play, you really don't need to keep score. This is the responsibility of the coaches to report those at the end of the day. Flipping coin comes in handy for tournaments. when you have to flip a coin to determine home team. And obviously your protective gear. Your protective gear consists of a face mask, a chest protector. The gentleman in the meeting, obviously you need a protection, a protective cup. Everybody needs some shin guards, and if you cherish your toes and you don't want any broken toes, I suggest a beautiful pair of plate shoes. Here are the 4 examples of the shirts. All of them look, USA made a drastic change in uniforms 4 years ago now. These uniforms are fantastic, super lightweight, super breathable. They're awesome to wear during the summer. So compared to the sweaters that we used to have to wear. Here's an example of the USA softball hat and the USA softball ball bag. One thing I will mention about uniforms, there is a storefront that USA Softball Minnesota runs that has access to order all of the equipment as needed when you get to that point. All right, plate mechanic topics. Is this still me, Tom? It is.
Yep.
Okay. When we arrive to the site and we're going in for a league game, we're going to start with a league game. We go into a league game. We ask for both coaches to approach you at home plate. We call this is the pregame meeting with the coaches.
This is actually just Jason, some of the things that we go over in the training here with the
yeah.
the
Okay.
topics.
I was gonna say it kind of took a
Yep.
turn. All right. So we'll talk about pregame meeting with the coaches. We'll talk about our stance slot, which is also our GPA. Signals. We'll talk about balls and strikes, signals, timing, trailing the batter runner, and positioning for calls on the bases. Here we go. Pre-game meeting with the coaches. During league, if you're working younger ages, 10s, 12s, then you'll know that the state of Minnesota and USA Softball highly encourages batting of the rosters. So lineup cards really aren't necessary. League night, everybody bats. So we don't really need those, but in tournaments, there are some tournaments that are out there that do request that, hey, you have the option to bat 9, 10, 11, you can have some subs that way. So if you are playing, or if you are umpiring in a tournament like that, then you'll request each line of cards from each of the coaches. You want to inspect those lineup cards for inaccuracies. If there's a scribbled number, you want to make sure you have it correct. Verbally identify if they have a DP and a flex, if it's being used. And then obviously once you have your stuff checked over, you hand them back to the coaches and have them verify everything's good. After confirming the lineups of the coaches, you'll say, coaches, are there any changes at this time? They'll say nope. Then we go ahead and we say, all right, we're good to go. Then we go over specific rules. Coaches, we're playing 65 minutes. Coaches, we have a run rule, 15 after 3, 12 after 4, 8 after 5. We have a tiebreaker that is in place if we are tied after 65 minutes. We go over behavior expectations with the coaches. Hey, coaches, you're responsible for all your parents, your grandparents, your players, and your own behavior throughout the entire contest. Just remind the coaches, hey, every call is a judgment call, and my calls are final. I might be the only one out here, and my calls are the final decision, and they cannot be disputed at that point. And also remind the coaches, we have a zero tolerance policy in the state of Minnesota. State of Minnesota, USA Softball adapted a zero tolerance policy a couple years ago, which allows you to, there's a 3-step process. You can give a warning, you can penalize a team with an out the next time they come to a bat. And if for some reason the coach gets ejected, then they get suspended for a lot of amount of time. And then obviously if everything is good after that and coaches have no questions, let's toss a coin, see who's going to be home team. Plate Plate mechanics. Good. You'll hear the term GPA quite a bit. Good pelvic alignment. What we work on is we want to put our good pelvic alignment. And what I like to say is I line my belt buckle up to the outside corner of that batter. So if I have a right-handed batter, I want my belt buckle facing the front right corner of the home plate. It allows me to see everything as that ball is crossing through the zone. And it also allows me to be in a heel toe stance. This there are some great officials that are young officials that actually have taught me a really good, simple way to get into a fantastic heel toe stance. And that's simply when they put their inside foot, or if we have a right-handed batter, they're putting their right foot in the middle of the plate. They will take their left foot and they will put the heel in front of the toe and slide it straight sideways, and giving them an optimal heel toe stance. Here's a couple of examples. If you can see in the left image, we have our right ear. This is a right-handed batter. We have our right ear sitting on that inside corner of that plate. And if we, on the overhead view, you can also see that right ear is on the inside corner. We have the belt buckle facing the front right corner of the plate, and we're in a heel toe stance.
Okay, thanks, Jason. We'll get into Keith's segment.
We're going to, I just want to say again, thank you for everybody for being here. And we obviously need all of our umpires to stay working with USA Softball. But we're going to talk about some of the umpire signals, both verbal and with our arms throughout this segment. One of them, a couple of them are hold up play, play ball, given the count, the routine out and strike, a sellout, a routine safe and no catch, a sell safe, fair ball, dead ball, foul tip, a 2-base award, and a 4-base award, delayed dead ball, and the infield fly, requesting help. Hold up play. This is one of the first things that we do. We're in there and they've taken their warm-up pitches. We're putting on our mask, not behind when we get into our position behind the home plate. We're putting our mask on before we get into that position. So now we're into the position and maybe the better batter is getting situated and you think that the pitcher is about ready to throw. We want to make sure we're holding up our hand, and we want to use the arm that's on the opposite side of the batter. So in this case, we've got a right-handed batter. We got our right hand is up and we're holding up the pitcher, and that's how we would hold up play. We do not want them to pitch. And if for some reason you've got your arm up like that and they throw a pitch, step out of there and just yell no pitch, because you have not signaled to that pitcher that we're ready to go. All right, the next thing is indicate that the play should not begin by holding up the hand opposite the batter with the palm facing the batter. Go ahead, Tom. Now we're ready to go, and we're going to indicate play ball. Now this umpire does not have their mask on, but you would have your mask on before you get in behind the catcher. And you're going to signal by saying play or pitch, whatever, play or play ball. All right, the count. Really important that we keep track of the count. Just a couple of pointers. We all carry indicators where we keep track of the count. We do not have to have that indicator up in our face when we're checking our indicator. So, my suggestion is when you have to look at your indicator, try to tilt your hand so that your hand doesn't come any far up higher than your belt. And then look down on it if you need to check it. But when we give the count, we don't say 2 and 2. We don't say 1 and 1. We say balls and strikes. So we say 2 balls, 1 strike. How often do we give the count? It's not required that we give the count after every pitch. Now, if somebody is requesting us to give them the count, maybe it might be the catcher. Could you give me the count? Or maybe there's a coach that would like to know what the count is. You know, that's not a problem. Just give it to them, looking straight through the pitching mound, 2 balls, 2 strikes. But you want to do that with your arms raised up, and you always want to say balls and strikes. Normally, the first pitch comes in, we call it a strike. That's a strike. We don't have to give the count after that. Normally, we would give the count anytime things could potentially change with the batter on the next pitch. So anytime there's either 2 strikes or anytime there's maybe 3 balls. Give both the number of the balls and strikes verbally each time you give the count, as I said before, and rotate your hands, not your body, so everybody can see the count. A routine out and safe, pretty standard calls that we need to make. Stand upright with your feet or shoulders width apart, facing square to the play and eyes to the ball. Bring your left hand up belt high. Bring your right hand and arm up out to the side of the body and up to a 90-degree angle with the closed fist facing straight ahead. The right arm should be parallel to the ground. So not cocked way back, not cocked way down, but it should be parallel to the ground and forward enough to see your elbow with peripheral. You know, when we do these kind of basic signals, it's so important that we do them like we're taught, because it indicates to everybody else that's out there the professionalism that you have as an umpire. Finish signal dropping arm to your side. Note, strike calls should be verbalized in the down position before the signal. So this umpire right here was in the down position. The ball come in and they went, hike, and then they stand up and they give the arm signal like that, like the description is shown here. Go ahead, Tom. Sell out. Okay, so if we've got just a routine out, we have, the previous slide showed where the umpire has an arm up in the air with the signal parallel to the ground. A sellout is something that we want to emphasize that it maybe was a good close play, maybe it was a close slide play into second base, or even into home plate. Now, if you've umpired, if you can think about, maybe you have played softball and think of that shortstop that's fielding the ball. As they're fielding it, they're catching it and then they're rotating their body and their feet and their hands, and then they're throwing it over to first. That's similar to how we do the sellout. We take a step toward the play with your left foot with an overhand out sign. Bring your foot right up behind the left foot and shift your weight onto the right foot. Take a second step toward the play with your left front foot as you make an overhand throwing motion and verbalize the word out. Bring your right, go ahead, go back one more.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, so we don't want to use the sellout on a routine play. We want to use the sellout to accentuate a really good play made by the defense. All right, so routine safe and no catch. So a routine safe call is right here, like we've got our arms strictly parallel to the ground, both hands to the chest, our shoulder high, straight out. Make sure we're not having our hands go up or down like some kind of a swooping bird. Extend your arms parallel to the ground and finish the signal by dropping your arms to your sides. Sell safe. Once again, we've got our positioning that Jason will be talking about here and Tom will be talking about shortly, but you might be 12 to 15 feet away from first base. And, whether it's a sell out or a sell safe, you're going to get into your position, and much like the sell out, we're going to take a step towards the base where we're making the safe call to accentuate that definitely was a close play. Finish square to the play by bringing the right foot forward into line with the left foot.
Sorry.
Fair ball, start upright, facing square to the play, and the feet shoulder width apart and eyes on the ball. Point towards fair ground by raising your inside hand and arm no higher than your shoulder and parallel to the ground. If further emphasis is needed, point a second time toward fair ground. Now, we do not verbalize the fair ball. If it's a foul ball, our arms are straight up in the air and we're yelling foul ball. But on a fair ball, we're just merely pointing to the infield. And like you say, if it's close, and normally everybody's screaming and all heck's breaking out, so it's okay to point it a couple of times, and then you're going to be rotating to your next position. Dead ball, timeout, no pitch or foul ball. Start upright, facing square to the play, and with the feet shoulder width apart and eyes on the ball. Raise both hands high above the head with palms facing out as you verbalize either dead ball, timeout, no pitch, or foul ball. Go back one screen, Tom. I wanted to highlight here, some umpires have a tendency to take this too nonchalant. It is extremely important that we make this call loud and verbal, with the arms straight up in the air. Whether it's the ball is going out of play and we got a dead ball situation, or we've got a timeout, no pitch, meaning you're behind there and we're not ready yet and the pitch is coming in, and or whether or not we've got a foul ball. So we want to be big and verbal and nice hands way up high in the air. Next, thanks, Tom. Foul tip. This is obviously a pitch that's come in and graced the side of the bat and maybe gone into the pitcher's or the catcher's glove. Rise and raise both hands and brush the fingers of the right hand over the left hand, chest high in front of the body. Follow up with the strike signal and no verbal strike call.
Oops.
Two base award or ground rule double. Raise the right arm above the head, hand open with two consecutive fingers extended, and verbally call two bases. Four base award. Raise the right arm above the head, hand open with four fingers extended, and verbally call four bases. Delayed dead ball, illegal pitch and obstruction. Stand upright with your feet shoulder width apart and eyes on the ball. Raise the left arm shoulder high and parallel to the ground with the fist closed. Verbalize illegal pitch or obstruction as needed to describe the action observed. Infield fly. Stand upright with the feet shoulder width apart and eyes on the ball. When the ball reaches its highest point, extend your right arm above your head with fist closed and verbalize infield fly. The batter is out, or if near a foul line, infield fly. If fair, batter is out. Hang on a minute, Tom. Go back. So we don't have to, these signals, we don't have to scream them so that the person in the center field hears it. We need to be firm with our voice and give a good, strong signal, both arm and voice, so that anybody in the infield should be able to hear it, especially the infield fly. Go ahead, Tom. Infield fly situation, when you're fortunate enough to work two umpire mechanics. This is something you're going to be signaling from behind home plate. I work with many umpires, and we should be signaling our umpires not when we're the home plate umpire and giving the signal to the base umpire, but we should be doing that before we step in behind the catcher for the pitching. So what we would do is maybe take our mask off and we would look at our partner and signal infield fly, a situation is on. That's where the plate umpire should put their right hand over their chest and make eye contact with their partner. Their base umpire will return the same signal to the plate umpire. You drop your arms down, and that's all we need to do on that one. When the infield fly situation is off, maybe we've got two outs. We no longer have runners on first and second, or first, second, and third with less than two outs. You know, the plate umpire will signal that the infield fly situation is off by basically taking their right hand, making a contact with their partner, and brushing their left arm. And the base umpire should return that signaling to the plate umpire that they've received the signal. Requesting help on a check swing. Once again, this is a situation when you've got two umpires, not a good idea to go for help when you're only working a one umpire system. But the plate umpire should step out from behind the catcher to be visible to your partner. All your signals, as I've said before, should be done not behind home plate, but you should step out to the side. In fast pitch, you should remove your mask in your left hand. And then in a two umpire system, point to the base umpire and ask in a loud verbal voice, did they go? Now you could say, did they go? Or you could point to them and you could say swing.
Okay,
And
thanks,
then,
Keith.
okay.
I think here's where I'll pick up.
Okay.
We're gonna get going pretty quickly.
Go ahead.
Requesting help on a check swing in a three umpire system with a right-handed batter. Plate umpire steps up behind the plate, move their mask, and they point to the first base umpire because of that umpire is open. Left-handed batter, plate umpire steps out, removes their mask, and point to the third base umpire because they're on the open side. The base umpire should respond one way or another. If they've gone, they say yes and give a routine out signal. If they have not swung, they say no and give a routine safe signal. Plate umpire places their mask back on and gives the count, and then we continue on. Jason, here's your place, and we'll really go through quickly on this. Just it's an outline of kind of one umpire mechanics. So
Yep, absolutely. One single umpire mechanics. Most of the games in Minnesota are umpired in one single umpire mechanics. Ground ball to the infield with nobody on base. We want to exit from behind home plate, moving to the left of the catcher, and we want to move so we are in a position towards the pitching circle or the pitching plate with an angle to first base to be able to make a safe out call as we need. Get your best angle as possible. Sorry. Ground ball to the infield with runners on base. Plate umpire will move again to the left of the out from behind the catcher to the left of the catcher into fair territory towards the pitching plate to get an angle again on a possible play at first base or a possible play at second or third. What we want to concentrate on is don't lose sight of keeping everything in front of you. We want to try to keep we want to keep all runners and plays in front of us, and don't try not to allow anything that goes behind you because you can't see, nobody has eyes in the back of their head. Go ahead, Tom. Yep. Hit to the outfield with runners on base and no play at home. We want to move ourselves to again from behind the catcher to the left of the catcher, making our way so we keep everything in front of us. We might move up the third baseline just slightly, but we always want to keep in mind that we want to get the best angle possible for any play that's going to happen at any one of the bases. What is
this just basically talks about the holding zone if we have a possible play at home.
Yeah, again, moving from behind the catcher to the left, moving about 15 feet towards the third baseline in foul territory. We commonly call that the holding zone. Holding zone allowing us to see everything in front of us, keeping everything in front of us. And if there's no play at home, we can move towards that next base where the play is possibly being made. Prioritize covering the base closest to home with multiple runners, obviously, and making sure we do everything we can to try to glance as often as we can around the field to see everything that's going on.
Okay, this is where I'll come in. What I'm going to do is share my screen. I'm going to take you to our website. What I want to do is demonstrate some of the things that we have on our website, the resources, and All I gotta do is find it. Well, talk amongst yourself for a second. Yeah, I have to get to the website here. Made it. So this is our website. If you go, the links that I put out takes us right to the umpire segment of the website. If you go to the main thing, you know, our main website, you can see many things. But I usually direct you to the umpire segment of that. What that does is if you're going to register, this is an umpire training, registration training video, and that will show you how to do the umpire registration. And we also have a lot of different resources here. We've got the umpire insurance coverage. We can also go to, we have the rule book on here. And the nice thing about the rule book is when you go in, you can search for a word. So it's nice to be able to get to what you're looking for. Also on our website, we have the umpire manual. Now, this is something I don't think we use often enough. If we go to the umpire manual, and let's make it a little bigger. If we go to like umpire mechanics, let's say even the one umpire system. So the one umpire system, it goes into verbiage about different situation. Here's the situation, base hit to the outfield, no runner on base. If we click this video, the play video thing, it takes you to
Runner on base and a base hit to the outfield. On a base hit to the outfield with runners on base, move out from behind the plate to the middle of the diamond and read the play. With a runner on first base only, be prepared for a possible throw to second or third base. Read the outfielder, and if the throw goes to third, move toward third base, getting the best angle and distance possible for a tag play. Stop, read the play, and make the call. Be prepared for a subsequent throw by letting the ball take you to the next play. Obtain the best angle and distance possible for that play. Stop, read the play, and make the call. When you have multiple runners on base and a base hit to the outfield, move out from behind the plate toward the middle of the diamond and read the play. With runners on second and third base.
Okay, so I think you kind of get the scenario. You're able to go in there and at least get, granted these videos aren't 2022, but the movement is still the same. So it works well. It's a way for us to see a animated, you know, movement for our umpire mechanics. We've also got a paper registration form. If people really can't get it filled out online, we're fine with them printing out that registration form, completing it, putting a check with the registration form in an envelope and sending it to our office. So that's pretty much what we have going on there. That's about what I have for us tonight, and we are a couple minutes over. So I guess I'd ask very quickly, do we have any questions? Or, you know, I guess I failed to, you know, maybe preface this. We could have put questions in the chat as well, but do you have any questions right now that you'd like to ask before we close out of this meeting? No, not yet. Why don't you let me get to this slide. Could you please copy down this URL? And that's the one I'd like to have you go on and do that SurveyMonkey form for me. So why don't I can, Jason, can you maybe put that in the chat quickly?
Yeah. As soon as you pull it up, I will.
Okay. Oh, you don't see it? I'm sorry.
No, you haven't shown it yet.
Oh, that's bad. Share my screen. There, I'm sorry. Thank you for telling me that. Can you see it now?
Yes.
All right, thanks. Yeah, if all you attendees can take down that URL and put that in and then go in and fill out that survey, that'd be great. That gets you credit for being at the clinic, and it gets me a couple other a little bit more information on you.
That link should be live in the chat now.
Yeah, I see that. Thanks, Jason.
Tom, could you throw those contact numbers up that you had on the
Yes,
first
oh,
slide again?
not a problem. That's a great idea as well. Can you see them?
Yep, thank you.
And let's, I will change Keith's number. I think he gave it out already to a cell number. Okay, well, maybe I'll ask one last time. Do we have any questions? Have you been able to get the contact information you need?
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we're going to sign off. Again, thank you very much. This will be on the website in a week or so. And like Jason said, don't hesitate to call. We'd be happy to answer your questions or anything we can for you. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.